Welcome to the first episode, or episode 1, not the first episode, episode 1 of the Save Point podcast. Welcome. First off, there's been so much shit that has happened, just from leaks to news to everything for E3, that I think the only thing that we can do in this episode is go back between our predictions, what we thought was going to happen, and just kind of talk from there on what we've seen has been revealed. I mean, we have what looks like 2 AAA games that have been revealed. PlayStation is just going crazy with their stuff on what they're doing for the next couple of days. It's just, and there's just leaks galore, just everywhere. We don't even know what to believe. So we'll kind of talk about that. We'll get into kind of a release that I was kind of interested in and not really interested in anymore, I guess. As far as that goes, we'll get into what we are playing. And then we have a really kind of interesting question. We really want your feedback with it too, which we think would be really good. And then just kind of our updating of our predictions. The next part of that, though, too, is that we really do want to thank everybody that has actually downloaded. We actually have had a lot of downloads of the podcast. We are on iTunes. We're on TuneIn. We're on iHeart. We're on Google Play. We're going to be rerunning this Twitch throughout the weekend until we get to E3. And then we will be doing our reactions. Right now, we're still kind of working on who's going to be on what conference, but we are going to have conference coverage on our Twitch. Mm-hmm. So we just hope that you join us and keep going with us, and please just keep downloading us, I guess, and keep listening. Let us know what you want to hear from us. I think the biggest thing that we want to get into. Oh wait, and then the other thing too is that if you kind of noticed from our last week, we don't have Steve here, as we, even though Steve is helping from the chat, which is perfect. Yes. One of the things that we want to look at though, or that people might not know, we touched upon it a little bit on the first episode, was that Jesus and Steve are both on the West Coast, and Grace and I are Central Time, so there's kind of a difference. So Steve takes care of a couple of things at night, so he is going to join us later. He will be on with us later. So don't worry, we will get Steve's input on things. And if we end before that, then on you, Steve. No. So,
tag with him.
So I think.
Okay, you know what? If we're gonna do that, first thing we should talk about is Fallout 76. Then
let's
I'm playing. Yeah. No. Wait. I know he wants to really talk about that. Yeah. So we're gonna hold that for him.
Let's talk about that, and then when Steve gets on, we're like, nope, sorry, I already talked about it. We're gonna have you talk about Barbie.
Something you care nothing about.
Barbie's Beach House 2018.
Barbie's Beach House.
That new dance game that's coming out.
All right.
So,
what is your take on Just Dance 2019?
Let's get into Jesus. What have you been playing? I think that's one thing we want to be open to our listeners and kind of tell you what we're interested in, what we're jiving on right now. So Jesus, what are you playing, man?
Recently, I've been a little bit more active in Destiny since the new news came out. Actually, me and Grace actually played a little together, and we discussed some of the new things. We can discuss that a little later, but I'm pretty excited with some of the new stuff coming to D2 that I just wanted to start playing that, and I think I'll be continually playing that moving forward, and some actual retro games as well. I'll have more on that later.
Awesome. Grace, besides Destiny 2, which I don't know why you guys play that.
Hey,
wow.
What else have you been playing, or have you been playing anything else?
Heck yeah, I've been playing other things. So the main one that I've been binge playing right now is Warframe. I just got into that recently. I was recommended it by a really awesome girl at GameStop when I was there recently. And I was like, I'd heard of it, but I wasn't super into it. I didn't think I'd like it. But after she explained it to me, it really is kind of like a mix of if you took Destiny and then Borderlands and you smashed them together. And I really like it. So I've been playing that. I've been learning the ropes. I've been streaming it, so that's really cool. I stream it on my personal channel, and then
which we do host.
Yes, right here, so you can watch me in either stream. So I've been playing a lot of Warframe. I've been playing some Skyrim still. I'm finally getting over the Skyrim bug. I still love it. It's just that I'm running out of things to do, which is hard to do in Skyrim, but I did it. I've done it. I've done most things.
Have you platinumed the game yet?
Almost. I'm very, very close. There are I think that there are 3 achievements that I have yet to do. One of them requires becoming a vampire, I believe. And I was just really I haven't done that yet because it just seems like that's super difficult, and I kind of want one of my mage characters to be the vampire, but I'm also not a huge fan of how mage characters work in Skyrim, so I've kind of been putting that off. And then the other one is have a 1,000 bounty in each hold, which I hate having bounties. I hate it. I don't even care. I have an Argonian who's a thief character, straight up just pickpockets, steals, thieves guild, 100%. And I have 0 bounties everywhere because I hate it so much. So I literally need to make a character that's just dedicated to being awful, and it's going to hurt my insides to do that. Oh, and then I also play League of Legends.
You're on League of Legends?
Always. I'm always on League of Legends. That's just something that I've been playing. I've been playing since mid-season 2. So it's just one of those games where it's I've been on a little bit of a hiatus. I still go on every now and again and play some normals or some ARAM, but man, I did some ranked this season since it started because I was I'm going to get back into it and I'm going to play ranked, and it was a mistake. It was a mistake.
I'm just so scared to get into that time vampire of a game.
Hey, me and Steve are going to be joining her.
That is true. Jesus and Steve are going to be joining me. We can teach you the ropes too.
So this means that this is going to be a save point guild or something, group that we can play.
Yes.
Should we do that?
We can be one of those. I will make. Actually, no. I have an alternate character that I can play on with you guys while we're still learning, and then I'll switch to my main account once we actually get to levels where I am able to play with newly leveled people without
she can say it. She's gonna say newbies. She's gonna say newbie. You can say
she's gonna carry us all, and then I'm like, okay, we're done. We can't continue.
I mean, I'm a support and an AD carry main, but I'm a support main before anything else, so I probably won't be carrying anybody, except for with my awesome support skills. Those can carry games. I don't care what anybody else has to say. Those skills can carry games.
If anything, I have 2 people who can help us in gold. So.
Yeah, I made it to silver because I just do my the 10 games to get to ranked. I just do that, and I made it to I think I got placed in silver 3, and I was like, cool, I'm placed now. I can stop playing.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I have
absolutely no idea. It just right over the head.
0 to 100 real quick.
What I've been playing is I started replaying Fallout 4, and we'll get into the reason why later. But I really haven't played as much as I wanted to, basically because and you guys are going to laugh at me with this because I'm going into a realm that usually gamers don't go into. One is I'm really hoping that these guys actually will actually win tonight and actually make the series and not lose. So I'm supporting the Golden Knights tonight. And then I've also been seeing LeBron James get his ass kicked at the NBA Finals, and I can't stand him, and I won't get into that because that's a whole nother podcast. But I'm just so happy that. So I've been watching some basketball and some hockey, and then just some other stuff going on. I just really haven't been able to sit and play. But what I have played is I have played Fallout 4 and trying to get back into that for obvious reasons, which we'll talk about.
Well, that's understandable. That's understandable. The World Cup's hitting up around the corner. I'll be busy too. So,
for anyone
Cup. It's for the very few Americans and the rest of the world.
Yeah, the 5 Americans and then the 20 billion in the other. Okay, so releases this week. I think there was really only one big release that came out this week. If people have been following it, it's one of those kind of. It reminds me of Dishonored. How Dishonored basically was released. It was really kind of quiet. Like it was kind of a sleeper. What is it? It's kind of a sweeper or sleeper game. Sorry, I was reading a chat comment.
No, you're good.
So it was kind of like one of those ones that was under the radar. Nobody really knew about it, and then when people started really kind of learning about it, it was like, oh, this could be really cool, and that it reminds me of Dishonored. And that game was Vampire. Basically, you're a doctor in medieval time, or not medieval, but it's like London, I think you're in. But it's like during like the Spanish plague and all of that. So you actually become a vampire. And the whole game is you doing like quests around the city. And you can either, choose to feed or not and help people, and there's fighting and all of that. And you actually, stalk around and you're a vampire. You actually go over and you kill people or you suck their blood. I really had high hopes for it, but I haven't bought it yet because the things that I'm reading about it is that it's very repetitive, and the glamour of being a vampire that doesn't sparkle in the sun. The actual kind of killer vampire again. It the shine, the sparkle, I guess, is just not there. Like it just kind of dies out some.
Oh no.
So I'm kind of wondering if I do want to play it, but I'm wondering if I'm waiting for it to be on sale for one of those wonderful, wonderful Steam sales that goes on, where games are like $5.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really the kind of big releases. Does anybody have any other releases? I thought that was kind of the really big one. I know that right now there's really nothing that's going on that's being released until obviously after E3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have anything. That was the only one I've heard of, actually. Is the
that's the only thing I've been seeing on stream.
This is the new Vampire game?
Yep.
So, okay. So that goes for new releases. So I want to get into the next part. I want to kind of get into the leaks that we've been hearing about for E3. And who's that in there? Is that Akron Wolf? Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Acorn is the wolf.
Archon, I believe.
So I don't know, male or female, but this person is saying, he says he or she's got a leak. It's medieval. It's Ark. He's saying it's Ark.
Ark?
Yeah.
No, it's Ark. Oh,
he's a guy. Okay, so he's saying that I guess there's a medieval release date. Well, PlayStation has already said and come out with saying that there's going to be a medieval remaster. Or is it a remaster or is it a...
They did, but they announced it in December.
Okay.
I cannot find the leak, but it is coming out. I just don't know the date. I don't know if he has the date, but it is a remastered.
It is a remaster of it.
Yes.
So there's also another one about Resident Evil 2. Thanks Oso. There is something about a remake. A Resident Evil 2 remake is going to be at E3. I'm trying to find the other one. There was a really, really long one of some. There's one leak that has come out, and I find it interesting. I kind of want to talk about it. You guys have heard of Death Stranding?
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Who hasn't?
So, who hasn't heard of Death Stranding? And people still don't know what the fuck is going on in that game.
No.
So,
who can get into the mind of Kojima? Really?
Yeah, nobody really can. But supposedly there is a 4chan or a rumor from 4chan. This poster put on there that there's a whole bunch of things that have come out. Like he or she has kind of seen the rehearsal of Death Stranding and the trailer that's going for it. Mm-hmm. So they kind of have kind of written down a synopsis of it. We can post it probably to our the link to our Twitch, not our Twitch, to our Twitter, which is the Save Point, at the Save Point. Follow us. Which I can kind of go through a couple of these things, and it kind of, the premise of it is kind of a little clear, but it makes you also kind of question it even more too. So it's kind of like one of those conundrums. First off, he says, tons of weapons, vehicles, gadgets, and gears from multiple areas, from clubs to single-shot muskets and energy swords. The baby is something that exists in a singular, and it's not something that is instanced every time you boot up the game. The baby is a single entity. He is what is causing the time distortions and dimensions crossing over, which is multiplayer. Ooh. So supposedly everybody's in their own dimension. Okay, and then when they cross over is when you cross over into somebody else's.
So kind of like Dark Souls, how you were able to jump into.
Yeah.
My friends, they mentioned that, and I kind of disagree on that a bit. I honestly kind of disagree with that a bit, because I think it goes a little bit further. And let me read some more of this, and then it'll kind of make sense to you. When the community had reached the end of the game, so I'm not really too sure by what it means by how many people in the community or the whole community, which, like, how can the whole community reach the end of the game if people keep buying it? So I'm kind of weirded on that one. But he says when the community had reached the end of the game, there will need to be a global decision made to kill the baby and end Death Stranding multiplayer forever, or allow it to live and continue the multiplayer experience.
Oh,
wow! That's a huge thing to put out to the community. Wow,
it's an absolute huge thing. Okay, so basically it's players in other games can do things at certain points in time that will have a butterfly effect in your game. This can happen both while you're actively playing or while the game is off. They can be positive or bad things, stick or rope. Okay? Mm. PvP can happen at any point if you and another player accidentally cross timelines while time traveling.
Oh.
So now this is the other interesting part too, because it sounds like it's permadeath. When you die, the timeline is closed forever. Significant things that encapsulate the Sam's story in that timeline will travel with you to the ocean floor before you reemerge and continue in a new timeline. As you and other players pollute the ocean, it will cause sea life to die and wash up on shore.
Oh.
That makes me want to go back and watch the trailer that released, because that makes
it really does.
And it sounds really interesting, honestly.
They're saying that it's coming early 2020. And yes, there will be a PC edition. But not for at least a year. Supposedly Sony wants all 12 months of that.
That works.
Yeah.
But nothing's set in stone. So now, people are saying the Dark Souls or Demon Souls, like the world tendency thing that you're talking about, I don't think it's really that. So like the world tendency is that you would go into this one world, okay? Or this one city or whatever it is. And depending on how people are doing things and whatever the color is or the tendency is of it, okay, would have the effect on the enemies. But what are we laughing about?
Oh no, Steve.
Oh, Steve.
Chat.
Okay.
Oh.
Chat.
Yeah. So we're having that, and but you had the same enemies, and you had the same path to travel. What this is sounding like is that I can boot up the game, think I'm on one path of traveling, and then something happens, and I'm in a completely different area that nobody else is ever going to explore. But because somebody else has jumped into that timeline, has now affected that timeline somehow. You know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So
no, like I get it, and like for the most part, it sounds very interesting. I just want to know mechanically how are they doing it, because this for the mechanics is really amazing what they could if they could do this. But it's starting to sound like oh shoot, what was that one game that came out that had like infinite space?
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky.
It's starting to sound like No Man's Sky. There's like great possibilities, and I don't know, like that would take a lot of power to do what they're trying to accomplish. Like I'm not gonna lie, it sounds fantastic, but a little too fantastic for me.
I'm hoping it doesn't go the Fable way, where Peter Molyneux, hey, remember we have created something that nobody else has ever created in a video game, nor nobody else have ever experienced. You know what that is? What's that, Peter? Touch. So, I mean, so it's just, I don't know. You're right to me. It doesn't, I think the ambition is there, but is the execution going to be there? But then again, look at Kojima.
No, yeah.
I mean, really think about Kojima. I mean, he's pulled off things that people are like, holy shit, how in the hell did you do that? I mean, look at Metal Gear Solid 5.
And he does have free reign now, and technology is a lot better now, and there's still another. If that leaks correctly, still another 2 years in development.
Yes.
So,
well, the other thing, too with that is just look at the person that he has working with him. Yeah, Norman Reedus. Okay, Norman Reedus is just like, okay, hell yeah, let's do that. Type sort of thing. I mean, from him in Boondock Saints to him in The Walking Dead. I mean, you got a guy that that basically seems that he would be up. It's like, I think this scene is going to be really, really good if you get stabbed and shot and then you get part of your head cut off and then your leg cut off, but yet you still win a marathon. And Norman Reedus would be like, yeah, I'll do that. So
he'd be so down. He'd be like, yeah, I'll do it with one leg while I'm bleeding out. It's fine. Everything's fine.
I mean, for God's sakes, they're playing with a baby.
Yeah.
And if this is true, you got to choose whether or not to kill the baby at the end of the show, at the end of the game.
And if you do, then everything is just dead forever.
So
interesting.
Just one of those,
indeed.
One of those fun things. So unless you guys have something else to talk about with that, or no?
No, that was a very insightful leak.
So it's a very detailed leak, which makes me think that there's some truth to it.
You can only
a little bit of truth. Okay. But we'll kind of go from there. The only thing that I've really heard out of the Microsoft conference is the length of time. Like, I'm hearing that they're saying that it could be like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And then I heard that it's only 100 minutes.
Okay.
So, we can kind of think from there. So unless you guys have heard anything with Microsoft's, it's been kind of quiet out of that one.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Microsoft person, so I hardly follow them.
I will say, and if Steve is still listening or whatever, I will say they have mentioned something about a VR or VR support.
Oh, okay.
That was a leak.
Yeah.
Kinda.
I think I think that was something that Steve and I were kind of like talking to each other about during the last podcast, was the potential for VR to make not necessarily a comeback, because it's still pretty big, but like it's not nearly as big as it was when it first got released, and everywhere you looked, like in all technology stores and everything, all of a sudden you would just see like VR headsets everywhere. It's a lot less like that now, but I think they're trying to vamp it up and give it some more hype.
Don't call it a comeback. No, I'm sorry.
Steve does mention that Crackdown was delayed.
But that's not a leak. Everybody knew that was happening.
That's sad.
Everybody knew that Crackdown 3 is just going to keep that. That's going to be like that one game. What was it for Sony? With the stupid dog thing. What was that? The Last Guardian.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's not coming. It's coming. It's not coming. Oh, 12 years later. Oh, it's finally here. So I think that's probably what's going to happen.
Indeed.
So the next, who wants Crackdown? Not me. Nobody wants Crackdown. So let's see. I'm going to kind of go through. So this is what was kind of leaked to me from my source. So we'll kind of see, and we'll kind of talk a little bit more. This is kind of the leak that I got. Kind of was what's going to be what's going to be kind of announced at each one. Nothing has been confirmed that this stuff is going to be announced, but kind of some of this stuff could be very interesting. So right now what I'm doing is I'm throwing up a spoiler alert right now. I'm going to throw up, if you don't want to listen to this, I want you to listen to it, but if you don't want to listen to it, you can skip ahead further on, and we'll post a comment in there. So we'll document this we're at 34 minutes right now on our stream. So after we're done with that, we'll document how far you can skip ahead so you don't listen to the rest of the spoilers. But spoilers, so supposedly these are what's going to be going on at each conference. So on Saturday, it's only going to be Electronic Arts. So that's going to be the 9th. Supposedly Battlefield 1945 is going to be, there's going to be a cinematic trailer for it.
Okay.
Star Wars Bounty Hunters Mandalorian Nights.
Okay.
This is going to be a real. One thing that everybody loves, Madden 2019.
Yay!
I could care so much less.
Yeah. I don't think I've played a Madden game since maybe early 2000, and that was just because my brothers would get them.
Yeah, I have one story about Madden football, and it has nothing to do with me playing it. So I mean, there we go. That's.
Okay. I mean, for like how tall you are or whatever, I'd put you at like big, huge linemen, just
excellent. Yes. I used to play rugby, and I was somebody who would tackle other players. So don't discount me for my itty bitty size.
I can just see that we're just sitting or just standing there, and here comes Grace.
And I just tackle you.
50 feet in the air.
Excellent. I will do it.
Supposedly a new Dragon Age Rise Tiamat.
I could see that, yeah.
Supposedly it's going to have new character creation, speech from Cassidy Hudson, Dungeons and Dragons collaboration reveal with it too. Ooh. So some form of Dungeons and Dragons, which would be kind of really interesting.
That'd be cool.
This one, they're saying it's just going to be a cinematic trailer, but they're saying that Snoop Dogg and Zac Efron are going to come out and present Anthem.
Again? Oh, okay.
Yeah, have they done it before? Wasn't Snoop Dogg?
They haven't. They haven't presented, but they've always been there, like together, playing the games, and they've always been showcased.
Yeah. I love that. Oh.
I still say the best one was when they brought out the Beatles, or what is it? Paul McCartney came out to do the Beatles Rock Band.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I think Yoko Ono came out too.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then for some reason, they're gonna showcase Anthem. It's gonna be a gameplay trailer, but there's gonna be no release date, which I'm not surprised about. I don't think that game's coming until 2020 anyway. I think we got another 2 years before we're thinking about that one.
That's probably fair.
Battlefield, and then they're going to end again. See, I don't understand why companies have been doing this. Sony did it one time. EA's huge with it. Is we're going to show another trailer for Battlefield. Like, why are we doing Battlefield at the beginning and Battlefield at the end? Like, that doesn't make sense.
I think that they really want Battlefield to succeed. And so they really want to bring attention to it because the first one, like, there was a bunch of hype around it because they were like, wow, it's awesome, like, Star Wars game, like, really cool, plays the characters. And then it really kind of flopped. Like, everybody that I talked to that had the game played it, like, a handful of times, and then they were like, I'm already bored with it. Like,
I was one of those people.
Right, exactly. My ex was, too. And, like, I bought it for him, full price, got him, like, the special edition and everything. And then he played it literally like 4 times. And he was like, that was the one thing he wanted for his birthday, I remember. And then, yeah, he played it 4 times and then just went right back to Destiny. And I'm like, honestly, I watched you play it and I can't blame you. Because it really, like, you just got so used to everything so fast. Like, it's cool the first time you play the game modes. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I've done this 40 times already. That was not fun. There just wasn't enough variety.
Mm-hmm.
So now I think the point of them wanting to put it in the beginning and at the end is so that at the beginning they can be like, wow, look at all this hype about Battlefield. Let's bring it back, friends. You know, we're hip and cool. And then at the end, they're going to bring it back again and be like, don't forget Battlefield. And we're going to be like, we would love to forget, please. Let us forget.
Let us not forget.
Let's see. Let us please forget. No, thank you. Nobody asked for Battlefield 2.
Nope. Let's see. What else do we got? Okay, so going next to Microsoft. Supposedly this is a really short list. But I could see where they could really kind of pull it out, drag it out. Mm-hmm. But I could already tell you right now, I think that you're already going to see, if you've been paying a little bit more attention, you're going to be to what happened in the news. You're going to realize, okay, that not all of this stuff is going to happen. So once again, take this stuff with a grain of salt. Supposedly, Microsoft is going to open with some form of an Xbox One X success trailer, retrospect trailer, that it's still the most powerful console. The only problem is it doesn't have any games. Then supposedly it's going to be the reveal trailer for Gears of War 5.
Okay.
Which if you listen to my, some of my friends or whatever, they'll tell me that I'm a Sony fanboy, or I'm in the Sony per se side. I've always been a Sony fan. But this is going to sound bad for Xbox, but I think one of the big things that I want to look at when it comes to it is that I think Gears of War 5 just needs to end. I mean, I wasn't that impressed with 4. Mm-hmm. I mean, it looked wonderful. It looked outstanding. I'm not engaged in Gears of War anymore. It just doesn't. It's like somebody's going to say Gears of War 5, and I'm like, okay. I'll pick it up when it's $15 in 3 years, after release. Or it's one of those, buy 2, get 1 free deal from somewhere, though they're supposedly, and I think that they would end with this, supposedly there's going to be a Halo 6 trailer.
Ooh.
Okay.
Which I would be very, see, now that's, a lot of people will take the reverse side of that and say, oh no, Halo has to be done.
Yeah,
I don't think you can end Halo. I think you can keep going with Halo. You just need that story hook.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I agree.
You're going to have...
I remember... Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
And trust me, Halo's going to have their final presentation part is going to be... It's going to have a battle royale. Right there.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Battle royale for everything. Everything needs one. Everything. Even Pokemon needs a battle royale.
They already have battle royale.
You are a mean, dirty man.
All right. For the next 2 weeks, I'll just stream Fortnite. There, I said it.
Calm down, boys. We don't have to go Fortnite on this podcast.
I don't play Fortnite. I don't like playing Fortnite.
We haven't gotten to that point yet.
If they somehow say that Halo, oh look, new feature, Battle Royale in it, what would you really think?
Do you think that that's actually going to end up being a big theme with a lot of these games that are popping out?
For the next, I'm going to say it now, it's going to be a thing for the next at least 5 years. It's going to be a mainstay for a while.
Really?
Yes, because right now, recently, a game just came out called Battle Royale. I think that's what it's called. It just got released on Alpha. It's really popular right now. It's another Battle Royale game. I
would hope so with that name.
It's a basically almost the same thing with style, except you get like magic and special abilities and cooldowns. And I was watching Ninja and Tim the Tatman play it, and it looks fun, but it's another Battle Royale, and that's what's happening right now. It's going to be the next trend for a while, and it's here to stay, and it's going to be the moneymaker people want.
I've never liked those game modes, so I could really care less about those things. Means more money in my pocket.
All right, let's Save Point Podcast Fortnite Squad. Do it.
Fortnite Squad.
There's
I will not be playing Fortnite.
There's 4 of us.
Fortnite is not my kind of game. I will try it if you guys really, really want to.
It's free. It's a free game. You can't really doubt that.
True.
That is true. That's why I started playing Warframe. It's free to play and not pay to play, and that's what I'm here for.
Anyways, continuing with Halo.
Hashtag not spons.
Okay, so supposedly it's just going to be a teaser trailer and then a speech and presentation from 343 Studios, which has taken over Halo. Rock Band 4, the Michael Jackson tribute?
Oh.
Whoa, wow. I did not see that coming at all.
I don't know if we want to see that coming.
I don't know, honestly.
I mean, do we really want to see that coming?
Yes, I want another rhythm game. Bring me back my rhythm game.
I won't play it, probably, but those really aren't my kind of games either. I mean, I'd probably watch somebody on Twitch play it, like once or twice.
I want to stop trying to learn a real guitar. I want to play a plastic one.
Perfect.
Hey, no, I've had a real guitar that has sat in its case for 2.5 years. So
I recently just got rid of mine that had been sitting in my basement for like 3 years.
Well, you should have told us. We could have jammed and just made noise.
We could just like vigorously strumming them until all of the strings break.
Teenage angst.
we can yodel too. We would have yodeled, and it would have been fantastic.
But new rock band, huh? Wow.
Yeah, possibly. Destiny 2. Now we already know that it's called Forsaken.
Yep.
But the name on this is where I said, it's not necessarily these are true.
Right.
Ghost of Nagasaki.
Okay, so that's all fake. That's all fake you have right now. That's all fake. So I watched the 1 hour conference from Bungie, and they released their year 2 plan, and they already have the next 3 DLCs lined up, and that is not one of them. I talked with Grace a little bit about it, but they're really pushing hard for year 2 of Destiny 2, and it got me excited. Like Grace, I'm also a big fan of D1, and sadly D2 disappointed about a month in.
Oh my god, yeah.
And it's been slowly making its comeback, but it still hasn't gotten me to play. It wasn't until me and Grace played recently that I actually started playing.
Yeah, no, same.
But it's still a fun game, and now they're bringing back random roles. They're bringing back bounties. They're bringing back the old weapon slot system.
which I appreciate so much. I hated the new one. I hated it.
And with the new expansions, they're bringing new weapons, new gear, and it's looking amazing. And I know Grace will appreciate the new bow they're going to be bringing out.
I am very excited. My only problem is the price point being like, for everything having it be like $70. Like, we already paid, that's more than we paid for the game.
So what she's saying is, so the next expansion, there's one expansion, then there's an annual pass. There's two things. So the next expansion is $40 separate. The annual one is $35. If you buy it together, you get it for $5 less. But it's all this new content that kind of should have been
in the original game. That's why I'm mad.
So in other words, Bungie is just asking for more money for a game that they basically didn't complete, and now they're completing it, and now making you pay for it again.
Right. So basically, we're paying for it twice, which I'm real not happy about. Also, I'm a broke college kid, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to have enough money to even afford it at this point. Like, I don't have the luxury at this point in my life of just being able to, like, shell out $70 for a game that I already paid $60 for when it came out, and I had like I have the deluxe edition of D2, Same. And so like I paid even more for that. So it's like now they want us to pay like $70 or $75 depending on if you get it together as a bundle or separate, and it's like, I don't know, I'm kind of really mad about it. And I've been playing Destiny since beta, as I mentioned in the previous podcast, so like I'll be really disappointed if I decide to not really come back to it, because I would love to get the expansion and reunite with my clan that I left behind like a year ago when I told them I was like, I can't do this right now.
I wish it was easy to like incorporate music into the background right now, because I'd play like Journey or something, because it's like I left the clan. They have to grow up. Yeah, I'm back. I've come back stronger.
I'll show you later. I'll show you how to do it later. It's really fun.
It's just like, I will make that happen.
Hey, trust me, we'll have you in the black and white, just kind of transition. But anyways, yeah, it is
4 months ago.
But no, yeah, it's frustrating for anyone who's, for that price point. We should be only paying half of what we need and already have the content.
No, absolutely. Coming up. And I am really, really hype about the bow. Like, I'm super excited about that because I am an archer at heart. I feel like in a different life I was a wood elf, because it's just like I love playing as archer characters. In Warframe, there are like, I think only like 3 or 4 bows that exist that I am aware of thus far in the game. And I'm like already working on like 3 different blueprints for them, but I'm just like, give me all of your bows, I will collect them all. So I'm super hype about that, and I'm super hype about the 9 new supers that are being released and like all that kind of great stuff and the really cool content that's coming out. I'm super excited about Forsaken. I'm super excited about bringing back all of the different races that have already had in between Destiny and Destiny 2, that have already had like their little showcases and stuff like that. That have had their own screen time, and now they're kind of bringing them all together, and they're showcasing them together as almost like one unit, it seems like, and I'm really excited about all that kind of stuff, but at the same time, I just don't know if I can afford it, and that's a huge, huge issue that I hope that they address, because I'm not going to be the only person who, in the community, who loves Destiny, but then got tired of Destiny 2 after a month. Like, their numbers are bad right now.
Oh, God,
Their numbers are straight up awful. And then they have the audacity to come out with, like, oh, guys, look at all this really great, crazy new content. Pay us for another game.
Well, what this is all saying is we'll start a Destiny 2 fund for Grace, for the Forsaken.
Kickstarter. We're kickstarting the shit.
There we go.
Get Grace Forsaken.
Get Grace Forsaken.
Don't Forsaken Grace. Don't leave Grace Forsaken.
Yeah, don't leave Grace Forsaken.
But no, yeah. I think that's kind of we kind of made our point there. We're excited, but the price is outrageous a little bit.
You guys are excited.
Stupid.
We'll bring you back. We're gonna bring you in, Dave. Dan, we're gonna bring you in.
Yep. It was actually the one story. It was kind of funny with Destiny 2. So I ended up getting it on PlayStation, and this is like right around the time that Grace and I kind of started talking. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I would send her a message, be like, "Hey, you feel like playing Destiny?" And she'd be like, "Sure." And I'd be like, "Okay, let's play Destiny." You're like, "I'm getting off right now." or I can't play right
genuinely. Now. You had the worst timing. I remember all of those times. I think we played together like either once or 0 times. But like
I'm going with 0.
I think it was, I don't think we ever actually played because you would always send me messages either when I was getting off, when I was having like a medical like emergency, which happens semi-frequently since I have a bunch of medical conditions, and then or something of that nature, or like I was going somewhere or I was going to sleep or something. You just had like the weirdest schedule for being like, "Hey, Grace, it's 9 p.m. Let's play Destiny." And I'd be like...
Because 9 p.m. is the weirdest time to ask somebody to play a game.
Well, it's not... Well, okay, for me, it's a weird time because I'm like, I'm taking medications and preparing for sleep.
Yeah. And then I got the whole, like, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm at school, so I don't play when I'm at school.
I didn't play as much while I was at school because I had Comcast, and it was, like, really, really sketchy. And I remember I was testing it out, and I went into a PvP match, and I got hate mail because I was red bar the entire time, and I was glitching around the map. I didn't kill anyone. I just couldn't do anything. I was literally just glitching around the map, like, rapidly, and then eventually the game ended, and I had 0,0,0,0,0 as my score, even though I was there the entire time. I didn't get any loot. I didn't get any rewards. It treated me as if I wasn't there. And then I got hate mail from a dude who was just like, "You stupid red button, bitch." I was just like, "I'm sorry, I'm on college internet." And then he just didn't respond. But I did respond to him. I felt genuinely bad because apparently he was just trying to kill me the entire game for whatever reason. Didn't learn the first time that he couldn't.
Yeah, but as you can see, we became friends.
Indeed we did!
Yeah.
Through a variety of other meetings that were not Destiny related, but we did talk about Destiny on a couple occasions.
Yes. They were kind of alcohol fueled.
Not for you. For me, yeah, for you.
For
most of the times that I've seen you in person, you have been either drunk or drinking, which is fine.
It's all good.
I don't mind. I don't drink. So I'm always just the person in the corner who's sober and very tiny and just like, "Yes, hello, let's be friends. I'll be over here, you go over there, and we can talk. It'll be good."
Yeah, sure.
That's my party personality. I'm like, find me in a pile with cats in a corner and you can talk to me. That'll be fine. I just don't venture out of my corner very often.
It's all good. So as we can see that, they're saying that the presentation for Bungie was going to come out with managers and Nolan North, which obviously it's not called that. So once again, this thing is already losing credibility. But then again, you never know. Supposedly One Punch Man first is all it takes. So have you guys heard of One Punch Man?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay.
Yep, same. I heard there's a game in production.
Yeah,
supposedly they're gonna reveal it. Sea of Thieves, supposedly a Kraken DLC.
Yeah,
okay, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
I think that would be awesome, especially now that there's going to be a competing game coming out potentially.
Mr. Terry Crews is going to come out and talk more Crackdown 3.
I could, yeah.
Okay.
Now, this one would be very interesting because there's already been, content that is going exclusive to PlayStation 4, I believe. And they're saying that Red Dead Redemption 2, a gameplay trailer, an exclusive content trailer, is supposed to go to Xbox, but I thought they already mentioned that it's going to be going to PlayStation. So I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm
not
sure 100%. But we can kind of go from there. And then supposedly it's going to end with an Xbox One sales success trailer. Which, once again, I mean, that makes it for a very, very short conference.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's going to be very much.
So, but once again, it goes into the whole thing of that Microsoft really needs to hit it out of the park here. Like, they really need to show why we should be in the Xbox camp. I mean, there's really nothing there right now. So, after that, we got Bethesda, which I know a certain female in this group is excited about that one. She's excited about Bethesda.
I love it. I enjoy Bethesda very much. They're very good. Very good.
Let's see. So supposedly they're going to start out with Quake Live, a multiplayer demo.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
I know that they've been talking about a Quake, or there's been a Quake supposedly in the works. An Elder Scrolls Online, Somerset Isles.
Yeah, I've seen leaks of that.
I've heard about that. I don't play Elder Scrolls Online. Maybe I should.
I tried. I couldn't do it. I couldn't play it. There was no one to play with. That's kind of a game you need to play with someone.
Yeah. I hate those kinds of games. I like to play by myself.
Loner.
I am.
Oh. Who said that?
Oh, I'm here now. Hi.
Hey, Steve has now joined us.
Yeah.
So his be right back about an hour ago has now come true.
Excellent.
Hey, kids, man. Don't mess with
Let's talk. All right, let's talk Fallout then. We've been holding back.
Oh,
yeah.
oh.
Well,
I will get into how. Well, okay, fine. Why don't we do this last one and then we'll talk about Fallout?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we're actually going through. The next one, supposedly, they're going to finally reveal is their Starship Serta or Sirti or whatever it's called, the Last Starfighter, the new game.
Oh yeah, okay.
Which I have no idea what it is. I have no idea what it's about.
Flying.
It's in space.
I've heard of it. I know it's a space game. That's really all I know about it. It hasn't really captured my interest enough to look into it.
I'm kind of more of I want to just see it. Like, I'm done hearing about it. I just want to see it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree entirely.
So.
I would like to see like a trailer or something for it. I'd be cool with that.
Yep. Supposedly there's going to be an Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind HD remake.
Okay.
All right.
And then obviously Rage 2, but we know about Rage 2.
Yeah.
That was revealed a long, long time ago. So let's get into what actually Bethesda did.
What did you do, Bethesda?
Is it 2 weeks ago?
No, it was like a week ago ish.
Was
it a little over a week ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay. So, well, Steve, why don't you, since you're here, why don't you explain what happened and then your thought on it?
Oh man, so much happened. So there I was sitting around looking at nerd news.
Yes.
And suddenly I see something that says, hey, Bethesda is holding a live stream on Twitch. So I immediately dropped everything I was doing and signed on. And we got a, what is that screen that, please wait, or what's it called? Please stand by. Yeah, please stand by. And it was in color. And it was, there's blue on there and there's yellow and it says, please stand by and stream. And there's a guy there. There's the vault boy there. And everyone's like, what is this? What's going on? Fallout. And so, of course, somebody who's going to be immortalized, in some fashion in Fallout 76, some guy goes, this is going to be remastered Fallout 3 or I'm going to drink a bottle of hot sauce. And everyone went, yes, you're our new leader. And so we all had to wait like what, 24 hours. They would do things in the stream. They had balloons and people would walk by and whisper to the vault boy and all this stuff. And it was just hype. And I was in the crowd of like, it's going to be, it's the 10-year anniversary of Fallout 3. So they're going to do something with that. Or they're porting Fallout 4 to something else, going the Skyrim route and putting on everyone's microwave and everything else. Or, I did not think we were getting a new Fallout game, but what happened at the end of the stream, and they even at nighttime, they put the Vault Boy to sleep and it was dark and everything. And
they put a blanket on him.
They put a blanket on him.
Yeah, they put a blanket on him. It was kind of funny. The thing that got me was the stupid puppet.
So major props to the one Redditor who's watched the entire thing to capture all these little moments. He has them all recorded and logged of every little weird thing that happened.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Props to that guy.
And the puppet, I think, was, it's a callback to Vault 77, if you know what that's about. But yeah, they set the little watch to 9:15 or whatever. So once it became that time on the East Coast, we got a new trailer for a new Fallout game, Fallout 76. And anyone who knows anything about Fallout, their mind shattered and exploded all at once. And then the speculation started. So you guys all saw the trailer, right? What were your reactions? Anyone?
Okay, go ahead. No, go. I've been talking too much.
So I'm not the biggest Fallout fan, but I enjoy the series for what it is, and I was excited. Just seeing going back into the world, that it just had me giddy. That's basically it. Just watching the initial video, it had me really happy.
Cool.
I caught a couple of things.
Yeah.
When I watched it, unless Grace, you want to go.
I did not watch the trailer. I will be completely honest with you. I've heard enough of it from my boyfriend.
Blasphemy! Oh my God! No! You hurt
no, my boyfriend loves Fallout. He is obsessed with Fallout 4. And so, no,
he needs to get on and kind of teach me about the whole weapon modding because I'm still lost on it.
Oh my God, if you asked him, if you asked him to help you, he would help you so hard. He is the sweetest, and he would literally just be like, "No, I'll show you everything, and I'll be so excited about it," and it would be great. It would be wonderful.
If you want to see some absurdity, just watch Steve's gameplay of his modded version. I was baffled. I was like, "What are you killing? What is that weapon?" It was fun. It was fun watching him play. And
so I'm actually trying to be pure with it because I have not beaten Fallout 4 yet. So I want to beat it without any mods.
I have a story about. I have yet to beat Fallout 4 as well. Steve, wait. This is what happened.
Yeah.
So I was completing the story mission, and there's a part where you're rescuing the child in the where all the synths are, right?
Yeah.
And you're in the facility, and
are you ruining this for me?
Yes.
Spoilers.
Anyways, continuing. I get stuck.
Spoilers.
I don't know how far it was.
Jesus. Just watch very closely.
What are we watching?
I don't know.
I had to wait
A little bit of a delay there, but we all got it.
Anyways.
I was watching the stream, that's why it was so delayed.
Anyway, you have to kind of catch the stream. It's hilarious. Anyway, there's this instance you're stuck in an elevator, and it's a save instance, and my save file got corrupted at that point where I was not able to leave that area, and I tried everything to go back a couple instances, but every time I would go into that section to continue the story, it would be the same bug over and over and over, and I was never able to finish it. And I had about 50 hours into the game at that point, and I was extremely frustrated, and I kind of stopped at that point.
And you were
I don't blame you. I would have done the same.
PS4, I'm guessing?
Yep.
Yeah.
So eventually I'll get to it. Maybe I'll do a stream and complete the whole thing.
You should, man. You totally should. I'll be right there. I'll watch you the whole time. Say, no, you're doing it wrong. Go over there. Do this thing.
Get backseated. Why are you using that weapon? Shoot. But I think before they release the next Fallout, I will do a stream. I'll get time off from AK, and I'll do probably a marathon stream for a while.
Oh, that'd be great.
That's actually what I've been trying to get on to do.
But I I thought you said that you would get some time off from baking, and I just imagined you as like a bakery chef. And I actually had to think for a second. I was just like, wait, is that what Jesus' day job is? Does he just bake delicious goodies all day? And you would have to get time off.
He has yet to send us any of them?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I make good cakes and cookies. I make donuts from scratch. But that's a different story. Let's go back to games.
That's my headcanon.
No, it's not.
My headcanon.
No, let's get back to these donuts from scratch.
I was gonna say, that sounds delicious.
But
so my impression that I was looking at, so I caught a couple of things. Right, and this was actually the first time that I watched it. First thing is, I noticed the date. Okay.
Yep.
The date is very, very much, very close to just the end of when the bombs fell.
Yeah.
It's 20 years right after. If I
25 years, yeah.
You have 25 years. Fallout 3 was what, 175, 100 and something years?
I thought,
200 years?
Good quiz. It's somewhere around 200 years.
Yeah, and then Fallout 4 was 300 years.
No, that was 200 years. The Fallout 3, New Vegas, and 4 are all within a couple of years of each other.
Supposedly, New Vegas and Fallout 4 happened at the same time.
Yeah. You can overlap.
They can overlap each other.
Yeah.
So I noticed that. The second thing that I noticed was that the thing on the TV. So I immediately thought co-op and base building defense.
Oh, okay.
I immediately thought that. Because I'll tell you this, when I was watching the Fallout 4 reveal a couple of years ago before it came out, and they were talking about settlements, the first thing that I turned to who is now my wife,
spoilers,
my girlfriend at the time. No, actually we were married at the time. Whatever. I did turn to her and I went, co-op. This has to be. I want to be able to attack your base. I want to be able to attack your settlement. Like, I was like, why not? I'm like saying it, like, I don't care about anything else that's happening in the game. Yes, the VAT system. Yes, blah, blah, blah. Tell me you have co-op. And then my friend, who is also big into Fallout, also said, why is there no co-op? Okay? Like, when it got done. Like, so we were like, where is the co-op? Where's the co-op? So when he said that we have to rebuild, that was the first thing that went into my head was, okay, it's going to be co-op. It's going to be online. But I struggled back and forth whether or not I thought it was going to be. I went for about a day thinking it was going to be an MMO, and now I don't think it is.
No, I don't think it's an MMO either.
The one thing too, the third thing I'm taking away is that if it is online, they're getting rid of the VAT system. How can we pull that off online?
Yeah, you can.
So me and Steve actually had an extensive talk on the possibilities for the Fallout 76. Starting with the building mechanic, I suggested to Steve that PvP group fights possibility, a possible tower defense, more updated to what was brought in Fallout 4. I know, Steve, you had something to mention about the current Fallout 4 tower defense system. It wasn't as...
Yeah. When your bases are attacked, it's, to look in the mechanics of how it actually works, it's not like when you're away from your settlement, and you get the little notification that, your settlement's being attacked. If you go there immediately, it just kind of spawns in everybody at like one spawn point, and then everybody shoots at everybody else, and then it's done. But if you're away from it, it's like a dice roll of what gets damaged and what doesn't. So it's not a true, like, it doesn't matter where you put your guns. As long as you have like 50 of them in a stack, like, you can defend your base. It doesn't matter where they're pointed and all that. So, if in this new one, if there is co-op, which everything's pointed to some kind of co-op, and if there is base defense and all that, I think they must have ironed all that stuff out by now. But so, okay, let me back up a little bit. I don't think it's going to be co-op in the sense of like MMO co-op where you jump on with your character and you do things. I think what this game is going to be is a single player, story driven RPG that your friends can come on and be your companion for a while. They can just join you on your travels. That's what I sincerely think that's what it's going to be. Fallout has always had companions since the very first game. You could hire people, you could save people, and they'd be with you for a while. You've got dog meat, running around. There's always been a dog meat. So all those things, and I think your buddy will say, "Hey, I want to play Fallout with you," and you go, "Cool, come on in," and they'll just inhabit one of your settlers. Or maybe one of your companions, they just get to like teleport into them and control them now. And so you can journey through the wasteland, but it will still be your game. And if you choose to play it entirely single player, I think they're going to let you. Just like, oh, I'm just turning off that feature. That's just not for me. And I think that's fine. Just like the settlement building in Fallout 4 was completely optional. There's only a few parts of the game where building something was really necessary, in terms of the plot. And that was it. So, I mean, if they're pushing for, rebuild, rebuild what was it? Our future awaits, right? That's in part of the promotional material. I think this game, they're really going to push that kind of thing. I think what we're going to get is, a hub settlement, and then you're going to go out into the world, and I think you're going to be able to build your settlements wherever you want to. I think that's going to be their big kicker feature of not like, oh, you get this little space to build whatever you want in. It's going to be anywhere in the wasteland. You pick a spot, you build a settlement, you make your connections, you do your thing. That's my prediction.
Okay. I agree. To a point.
That's a hard statement to.
I'm correct. I think the timeline is interesting as well. Like the
timeline is what's throwing me off. That's what's kind of, because supposedly you're in a time where there's no super mutants.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, well, yeah. You did mention that.
Kind of. There are two sources of super mutants now. The original source on the West Coast was from the Master, dipping people in the FEV, creating super mutants. And that happens at the same time, like the same year that this game is set in. That is happening on the West Coast. On the East Coast, Vault 87, which was in Fallout 3, they also have mutants. That's where the East Coast mutants come from that vault. And that vault, I don't remember the entire story from it, but the vault itself had some experiment with FEV, but it was hit directly by a nuke, and so something weird happened, and now mutants come out of it. And one of your followers, Fox, came from that vault. So there could be mutants, is what I'm saying.
Hannah just left something in the chat, so I'm trying to read that. So, Jesus, why don't you try to see what he's saying with that? That's a lot of words.
So many words.
Okay, so that makes sense. I think what's going to happen with this one, though, I think they're really going to try to explore the base building. Like, I think they're going to put more emphasis on it than we think. Like, I really think that it's going to be build your settlement up, and then go out and explore and come back. And then I think I can see the drop in, drop out companion with it. I'm just wondering if there's going to be some. I agree with you that I don't. Now, are you saying that there's going to be no PvP at all?
I'm saying no PvP whatsoever. I'm saying none.
I agree with that, because I think if you did have PvP, you're just going to have the assholes that go around that just want to destroy stuff, and the game's going to lose exactly what it's trying to do.
Yeah, it's not in the spirit of Fallout to have player versus player. It's barely in it to have companion or to have a co-op mode like that. That is going out on a limb in the world of Fallout. So I think that's enough.
What did our listener say?
So they mentioned there was a mechanic in Killer Instinct where your friends were quote unquote shadows. So it was a AI based around your players, your friends' method of playing. So after playing a certain amount of time, the game would learn how you play, and you could play against your friend's shadow. And so the companions would be a shadow of whatever your character is. So if my character, depending on how my gameplay is, would be a shadow of Steve's game of how I played. So it would be a version of me in Steve's game and Grace's game, how I play. So it's me in your guys' game. That sounds interesting. But
so melee, sniper, or machine guns is what we're gonna get, right? Like,
basically.
That's. I mean, when it comes to combat, that's all it is. And I think we need to pull away from combat and Fallout because it's a role playing game. The Fallout has always been a role playing game. There's been more emphasis on combat since it went first person, and there's more shooter elements now, which is fine. But at the core of it, it's an RPG. And if a Fallout game is not an RPG, then you get Brotherhood. Remember Fallout Brotherhood? Mm-hmm. No, we don't want to remember Fallout Brotherhood. No,
maybe it's best that I don't.
Don't even Google it. It was an Xbox game. Right. It was like a top down. It's forget about it. It's scrubbed from the record. Yeah.
I don't remember. I never heard about it.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
What are we talking about?
Yep.
Exactly.
Is that kind of in the realm of the Super Mario Brothers movie?
No, I still love
it. We just don't talk about it?
No,
I
that's...
love that movie.
That movie's awesome.
Lou? Captain Lou Albano?
Oh, Lou Albano. Oh, that one.
Okay.
A really old one.
Yeah, jeez.
I do have one thing going along with Steve's RPG setup.
Yeah.
We did discuss that your companions or your settlers, what would be interesting if they implemented was... what was it? The whole ability to give your characters different stats.
Oh,
Yeah, they did something like that for Fallout Shelter, where each character had their own unique stats, and they made them important. Like you cared about Grace, you cared about Steve. You didn't want them to die. You wanted them to get their stats up. You wanted them to be like great. That would be a fun mechanic to have in a game. Where it's an RPG, you're trying to keep your settlers alive, strong, and make them a discipline that you want them to be.
Yeah, if you could have settlers where you assign, well, first of all, give them names, okay, not settler, generic settler. If you give them names, if they reintroduced a karma system where maybe some of these settlers like you, maybe some of them don't, and maybe depending on how much they like you and how of a good or a bad playthrough you're doing, maybe they will work on the things you want them to work on, or maybe they'll refuse. Or maybe you have your buddy jump on with you. You're playing and your settler's like, I like that guy. I'm going to leave with him when he goes back to his game. They could do things like that. And then you could be like, hey, you're doing evil playthrough. I'm doing a good playthrough. So I'm going to take all my evil guys and put them all in one room. And when you come in my game, you talk to all of them and they'll all go with you. And that'll be great, won't it? I think, yeah, if we're doing settlements, it's not just about building, it has to be about the people as well. So I hope they've taken that into account and you're not just building buildings and putting things in it that generate food or money or whatever, but actually have a community, have the people. I mean, the Radiant Quest stuff they did, the settlement needs your help. Yes, Preston, I know it's 5 of them. I'm not doing it right now. But if they took that system and had it randomly generated within your cities of like, there's Bob the farmer. Well, suddenly Bob the farmer says, hey, I need 5 rutabagas. You're like, cool. You keep doing quests with them. The quests get more involved. And then suddenly Farmer Bob is part of the main quest line. And that's for you in your game. But when somebody else builds their settlement completely differently and they've got, Joe the trader and they've been doing all the quests for Joe the trader and he takes the same place in his game instead. Are there ghosts? What's happening? I heard loud noises.
Yeah.
I also heard loud noises. I thought they came from your end.
Yeah, that was weird.
No, we're haunted.
I think that was me. I was spinning my bottle.
Oh.
Gosh dang it, Dan.
Fallout
Ghost. You ghost, you.
Anyways, yeah.
No,
so,
I get what you're saying, Steve. I mean, we got Leroy who can fix cars and all of that. So
vehicles.
I want The Sims for Fallout.
Fallout Sims, yes.
Fallout Sims Edition.
I think maybe what we'll do is, because I think we could probably talk another hour to an hour and a half about speculation on this. Why don't we wait till Sunday? see what's going on Sunday.
But then we can't speculate anymore.
About it. Huh?
But then there's no more speculation because then we'll know and we'll feel relief and we'll know exactly what's happening.
Then we'll have our reactions.
Next time someone streams, we'll talk more.
Yeah, go watch. I mean, when we do reruns, the stream I did that Jesus was part of, I talked at length at all this stuff. It was complete nonsense, but I can talk about Fallout for hours. So.
It was entertaining and fun. Trust me, you'll enjoy the rerun.
I like it. All hype must die.
What was that?
All right, let's continue.
It's in our chat. Somebody just wrote. He says, "All hype must die."
Oh no!
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Kill the hype.
Kill the hype. That scared the shit out of me. I won't lie. That low voice. Let's see. Okay.
I'm coming for you.
We'll kind of go through a couple. We'll go kind of through fast on this other stuff that's going on. Let's see. Bethesda, we just covered. Supposedly for Square Enix, there's going to be a Just Cause 4 that's coming out. There's going to be a release date trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3. Hopefully.
Finally. If it does happen.
Final Fantasy VII, supposedly there's going to be a gameplay trailer, that remake. Yeah. But supposedly that also got restarted.
Yeah, it got pushed. It's been pushed. Yeah. Yes.
So I don't know if they're going to have anything. And then this is what I'm actually interested in because they mentioned this. Supposedly something about the Avengers project that they've been working on.
Yeah, I've been hearing snippets of it.
I don't know what they're going to show us.
What is that?
I hope they show us something fun.
What is it supposed to be?
It's anything, really.
Okay. It's supposed to be a co-op online Avenger game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sweeping simulator where you have to sweep up dust and then cry.
I have not seen Infinity War. Don't tell me.
I was talking about. No, I just
it's been out for too long. I give a person a week and then.
Sorry. No, I mean, things happen. Buffy the Vampire Slayer was a great show, and they used to dust vampires all the time, and now Avengers. So that's what that was.
There we go.
Basically. There you go.
Nobody knows what the hell's going on with the PC. Like, we never do.
Nope, never. Nobody ever knows.
Nah.
Supposedly Sony, and this is where I kind of came up with my prediction a little bit. Supposedly there's exclusive stuff coming, exclusive content for Fortnite for PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly Cloud, Tifa, and Sephiroth are going to be added into Soul Calibur 6.
Soul Calibur! Oh my god, wait, no, Soul Calibur 6, are they finally going to be coming out with something with it? It's been in the works for so long, and then it got stalled over Ivy's boobs.
So they've been doing
so much is going on
for the last.
I've never seen somebody get so excited over boobs.
Dude, no, it got stalled over a specific character's boobs because they wanted to make them. The main creator of the game is all right, Ivy's boobs are getting to be too much of a show stealer. We need to make them
mechanic was too strong.
Right, exactly. They were too strong, and so they needed to make them smaller. And then the rest of the team was like, "I refuse to make them smaller. We have to keep Ivy's boobs and boob portions and stuff."
Her jiggle physics were too strong.
Exactly. So
anyway,
half the team quits.
Can we copyright that jiggle physics?
It's a thing. It's a thing. Jiggle physics is a thing. Games that have any boob physics, it's considered jiggle physics.
Excellent.
So, anyways, if you look back a couple weeks, they've been releasing clips of different characters, and I think this is the first we're going to see third-party characters for the first time. But if you go back and look, Soul Calibur 6, you'll see different gameplay of different characters. It's finally coming out.
We've seen. I was going to say we've seen in other Soul Caliburs. We've seen some other third-party characters come in. Like they have Yoda in one. They have
Yoda and Vader were in different.
Yeah.
One was Microsoft and was Sony.
They've done that before.
They had Link.
Who was the Spawn? They had Spawn.
They had Spawn. Who was the guy from that Star Wars game? The Apprentice, I believe.
The Apprentice,
Oh,
yeah. Him
Star
and Yoda,
Killer.
I think, were in the same game.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Soul Calibur is literally my favorite game. I am such a Talon main. Oh my god.
Wait, was that the bow staff guy?
No, Talon is I don't even know how to. She has the tone fuzz.
Okay. Oh, the weird little things.
Yeah, with the little blades on the sides. Because I was always determined that if I ever had a fighting style, I would totally have like wrist blades, and I'd just be like, "I'll fight you like this." And she liked wind a lot, and she was adorable.
Who was the mom who had like a shield and sword, and she was like a Valkyrie?
Sophitia. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my main.
She was pretty great. I liked Sophitia.
But anyways,
Cassandra was annoying.
Okay. Moving on.
Sorry. I got really carried away with that one.
Nerd.
So we have Soul Calibur 6 stuff.
Yay!
Supposedly they're going to have something with No Man's Sky because of this new update that's coming on, where you actually have multiplayer, and it's a little too late. It's,
too late.
Stop kicking a dead horse.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Let's see. The next thing is Shenmue 3. Supposedly there's going to be a gameplay trailer for that.
Okay.
Which I really hope that they kind of redo. I would love to replay the first two till I get into 3. They're wonderful, wonderful games. They really are. Life is Strange, Storm's Calling. Supposedly it's going to be a real trailer. They're going to have stuff on Black Ops 4 because they have the exclusive content of free maps. And, I've never heard of this, but supposedly this is an Activision title. It's a new one. It's Tournament of the Agents, First Blood.
I haven't heard of it.
Is there a colon in there?
Nothing's coming to mind.
No, I've never heard of it. Something with Overwatch, Talon's Fury. They're going to have that ghost of I have no idea how to pronounce that one word. The one from was it Sucker Punch that's making that game, or Insomniac? It's Insomniac. Ghost of Satsuma or whatever.
Oh,
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, Tsushima. Supposed stuff with that. Obviously, Spider-Man, The Last of Us 2. Supposedly there's new DLC for Final Fantasy 15 that's coming out. There was one leak that said that they're going to finally announce that you can play PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, possibly PlayStation 3 games on the PlayStation 4, which I doubt that's going to happen. That's a really, really high, big doubt.
I would love for it to happen.
It'd be wonderful, but it's difficult. I mean, the architecture is different. They have to rebuild games from the ground up. It's not an easy thing to do.
No, absolutely not. If they do end up doing that, that would be awesome, though.
Yeah.
Let's see. This is a far stretch one. I doubt that they're going to come out with any hardware announcements, but supposedly there's a PlayStation 4 Pro version 2.0.
Okay.
That might be possible.
Yeah, I could see that.
Would be, but I don't see it happening.
What is it?
I see possibly a slimmer version of it.
Yeah, that I can.
But
see.
I don't see any type of specs or anything making it more powerful or anything.
Well, unless they integrate like that other little unit for the VR, like if they shove that inside somehow and say, now just plug in the VR without the other thing.
That sounds about right.
But that's a very limited audience for just that.
Mm-hmm. So now that we kind of went through the leaks, I think with the unveiling of the new Assassin's Creed game, obviously the Fallout game.
Yes, I was right.
Supposedly there's a Devil May Cry 5 is going to be announced. There's a whole bunch of things that people are just starting to kind of throw. So the question comes up is that do these leaks dampen the hype for the E3 or do they increase the hype for E3? Because, I say we go round table with this. Who wants to start?
You all start.
Okay.
Excellent.
Leaks are the best. they help generate hype. It's nice to be surprised when it comes, when you go to like watch the thing. But like, if you don't have that, there are no commercials, there's no trailers, like in the sense of like when you're getting excited for a movie or a TV show, you can like watch these little things and you're like, oh wow, I'm excited to go watch this because I know just this little bit about it. And so now I want to know the rest. That's what leaks are. They're not on accident anymore. They are targeted marketing. And I think they're great. I mean, give us these little bites, these little pieces, like exactly what they did for Fallout. Build up hype for a day, throw down a 1.5-minute trailer, silence, let people talk about it. I've been on the Reddits like every few hours. Like, is any more information? No, none at all. Zero information, but I'm there talking about it, part of the conversation, right? And so I think they're great. If a leak came out that was, ruining a game or spoiling a game, where someone was like, oh, yeah, here's the entire plot for the new Fallout game that's not out yet, that wouldn't be cool, right? That'd be terrible. So in line with that, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, like, was that on purpose or was that a mistake? Because the thing that came out first was the little keychain, besides people saying, oh, it might be called this and we've heard, but nothing was really confirmed. But then we got the picture of the keychain that said Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and it was a little Spartan helmet on it, and from some French press or something. That felt like a leak that was not on purpose. I could be completely wrong, but if they were like really holding, like if we see their presentation and like they say like nothing about Assassin's Creed and then suddenly the lights go down, they're like, boom, Odyssey, and it was supposed to be a big surprise reveal and that's been ruined, that's a bummer. But, but the fact that it's been released, like now I'm excited. I'm like, cool. I was okay with Assassin's Creed having a yearly, what do you call it? Release.
Right.
Having a yearly release. I was okay with that. Even though like the game started to kind of degrade a little bit, but I was still buying them and I was still playing them. So maybe it's my fault. But they took a couple years off. They did Origins. Origins was great. Now if they just take that formula and say, okay, we've got this new formula, let's start pumping them out again. I'll keep buying them. I'm okay with that. So that leak for me was like, cool. Now I have something to look forward to for Ubisoft. Now I want to watch their conference to see any little itty bitty bit of Assassin's Creed that I can. So I think leaks are good. I think they help, generate hype and get people excited.
I'm on the same side of you. I think out of all of these leaks that are going out, I would say 75% of them are on purpose.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, I mean, how are you going to take a picture of? I'll go back to the Assassin's Creed thing. How are you going to take a picture, taking a packaged material thing? Which, you know what that also says to me too, is that the game's done.
Yeah.
The game is done. Why are they making promotional stuff? Why are they making a helmet and all of that if the game is in beginning? So in other words, it makes me think that it's coming out this year also.
Yep.
Okay? And it's coming out sooner than later. And I want to go back to one other leak thing, Steve, about Fallout.
Yeah.
The last thing, and I doubt it's going to happen, but did you hear that, you know what 76 means besides the vault? That's the release date.
Oh yeah.
7/6.
Yeah, so I saw that someone leaked a screenshot from an unreleased YouTube video where at the end of the trailer the release date is 7/6/18, which is the 6th of July. See that kind of leak, I'm like, we didn't need that. We're already excited about the game, so we don't need that.
I would be now to go back to it once again. It's information that has come out. Is that supposedly this online thing for Fallout has been worked on since 4. So it's not like it's new technology they're trying to develop or new systems. It was supposed to possibly even be put into 4. So it already existed. So to have a 7/6 release date would, I think, be kind of cool. It'd be kind of like awesome. Off the wall.
Yeah. Did you guys watch, I don't know if you guys have talked about this yet, but NoClip has a documentary about Bethesda that they put out recently?
We haven't talked about that yet, but they're going to be putting both of them out.
Well, the first one's already out.
There's a lot of information that's coming out about this game really fast.
Yeah.
I could see a very early release date.
One of their documentaries is already out and I've watched it, and they say in it that Fallout 4, part of it was they at one point, I think it was Todd Howard says, we think about multiplayer for every single one of our games. Like it's an option, and then it usually gets cut fairly early because they want to focus on a more single player thing. So it sounds like they've been wanting to do a multiplayer something for many, many years. And so they finally just said, let's do it. I mean, it's smart for them to say, let's develop a new game engine. Let's put a new game out, Fallout 4. And then let's, instead of giving it to another studio like they did with Obsidian and Fallout 3 for New Vegas, let's keep it in-house and do an experiment. And so I think that's what they did is they said, here's Fallout 4. Great, good. Take those tools. Let's do something crazy with it. That's 76. And at the same time, they've got Fallout 5 on the back burner going back to a traditional single player, blah, blah, blah. And they'll throw into it, whatever is going to be successful about 76. Yep. And then eventually one day they'll go back to Elder Scrolls and go, whoops, we forgot, but here's more.
Yep. So going back to the whole leak thing, I think you got to take things once again with a grain of salt, and then if you know anything really about, the development process, I mean, if they're making promotional things and they're already cellophane wrapped and ready to go, that means they're starting to mass produce it. That means that game is coming out soon.
It's done.
It's coming out within the year.
Yeah.
I think the other thing too is that I think it throws into that 25% of people just making shit up. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of like, okay, now it gets things talking. It gives us a reason to have a podcast. It gets us a reason. It gives us material to talk about.
A reason to live. Right,
So I think leaks are really, really, really good. I don't think it dampens it. I also think it also goes into the. I'm going to go back to the 360 era. Remember, there was a certain game that came out that it came out on the system where it was announced for the system that had never been announced for that system. Ever. Okay? And if you watch the documentary on it, and I forgot what year it was, if you watch the or not the documentary, but just behind the scenes, they signed the deal to put this game on the 360 2 hours before the conference went on, and they fit it into the end. And that was Final Fantasy 13.
Oh, 13.
That it was coming to the Xbox 360.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Boy.
Okay, so the thing that I'm looking at is, and this is what I hope for, are the oh shit moments. Like, holy crap, that's what's coming. Yeah. Like, if you're going to talk about sales figures and all, I don't care about that. Like, okay, great, the Xbox One X is great. If they're going to come out and start saying sales figures and this and that, I don't care. I get it. Show me the game.
Yeah.
Show me why people are going to want to play this.
That's great that you've got all these teraflops. What are you going to do with them? Show me something cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's like, that's what I'm waiting for these conferences, is give me the holy shit moments. And that's what I think Ubisoft did a couple of times, because the other ones just didn't do it. Like, until a couple of years ago, and I'll take Sony, God of War. Okay, what did they do? They come out and they have a flippin' orchestra. They have an orchestra playing, and they don't even say a word. They say no words at all, and it's an orchestra, and it opens up, and and they're going over, and then suddenly the music builds, and then here comes Kratos walking out of the darkness, out of his house, and people went fucking crazy for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they did. They went crazy for it because there was no. Like, it was that holy shit moment. It's like, okay, all of this leak stuff that people kind of know about, great, get it out. Now, I think what you then have to do is that opens up another time where you can go over and say, you know what? Now we have an era of being able to say, or just a little space to say, you know what? We're going to give a tease of something that nobody has no idea about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like everybody's mind is, okay, these are the leaks, these are the leaks, these are the leaks. And then suddenly it's, holy shit, I can't believe that this is coming out, that they just announced this.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I mean, even somebody like me who I really don't, I don't dislike leaks. I agree with you and Steve and what you guys were saying, and how, they definitely do serve a purpose. They serve to, to generate hype and excitement and stuff like that by just giving us little bites and little bits and stuff here and there. And honestly, just with how many people I know that really love that kind of stuff, I hear enough about it where I almost get my hype from hearing other people talk about it. And that's just kind of how I am, where I don't like to look at the leaks myself. I don't like to read about things or like really watch anything like leaks and stuff like that. But hearing like you guys talk about it, or hearing like other friends that I have just come to me and say, Grace, did you hear about, Soul Calibur all of a sudden? Like, did you hear about that? I'll be like, oh my God, no. And then like, we'll talk about it and I'll get super excited. And so, yeah, hype by proxy. You got it. Exactly that. Yes.
That's a good title.
That's exactly how it is for me. Right, exactly. And so like, I definitely realize that I'm not alone in being this way, but also that I am very much not, there are other people who really, really like the leaks and go really hard and like diving into them. And obviously there are huge Reddit threads and stuff like that with people who are just all of the leaks all of the time until E3. And that's perfectly fine too. I think that's awesome. The dedication is awesome. I just like, I don't know. I've never been big on like looking into like these written things that have been leaked to like the formats and stuff like that, where it's like, here's Sony's format for what they're going to be doing and stuff like that, like their outline and like what's going to be released. And I've just never been a big fan of like tracking that kind of stuff down. If it comes to me, occasionally I'll be like, yeah, okay, I'll look at that. I'll watch that. But otherwise, yeah, I just kind of like, I grab my hype from other people who are super hyped because they got super into the leaks. And that's kind of my stance on it. I don't think that leaks dampen the hype by any means. I think that they do increase the hype. And for me personally, I don't get my hype from the leaks. I get my hype from the people who got their hype from the leaks, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Excellent.
But actually, I have a feeling that moving forward, E3 is going to really change. Because this year, like the way Bethesda did, the way Nintendo did with their Pokemon conference, the way Bungie did their Destiny thing, they're just, they gave each their game a chance for everyone to talk about it for a certain amount of times, and not just do this one presentation where for 2 hours you're talking about so many games, and sometimes you forgot about something if you didn't write it down. By doing all these like leaks, and I think moving forward, they're going to be different developers are going to be doing these like maybe half hour or to an hour conferences like Nintendo does, like Bungie does, to display their games. And then we'll hopefully get what Dan wants, is those hype moments from E3 and all that crazy stuff. Like, that's what we're doing. That's what we're hoping for now. That's what I'm feeling is going to be moving forward into E3, is these leaks are not going to be leaks anymore. It's just going to be new conferences, smaller conferences leading up to E3. That's what I feel.
I can definitely see that. And I think that's also part of why I'm not a huge fan of going out and seeking out leaks myself, is that I absolutely love surprises and I love being surprised in good ways. I don't like being negatively surprised. Don't like jump scare me. Jump scares are my least favorite. But no, like I really love the big surprises and the big reveals and stuff like that. So like I'll be watching and I won't know what to expect. Like that's how I like to do things. And that's just me personally. And I feel like if they do these smaller conferences, like Jesus is saying, I think that that's almost like, for me, it's kind of like getting like a tiny reveal where it's like, wow, look at this really cool, surprising thing. There's new Pokemon games that are actually remakes of a really old Pokemon game using Pokemon Go things inside of it. And I'm like, wow, that's really amazing and really, really cool and great. And that's like a little surprise for me. And it's almost like every little like miniature conference that they would be putting out is like a miniature surprise, but also it would also serve other people as it being a leak. That was a sentence that sort of happened.
We get it. You know,
we get what you're saying.
It's giving everything an opportunity to shine. It's giving them their 15 minutes of fame instead of that 10 seconds. Like, ooh, look at this, look at that.
Right. And I think that I think that it'll make everybody happy if that is how they end up doing it, because I know that there are people like me who just really like to be surprised. We don't really like the leaks and stuff like that. Although I do appreciate leaks, like I said earlier. Like, other people can like leaks all they want. Leaks can exist. I just don't search them out.
Hey,
But
I got Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee out there, so I got
you did. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You did say that.
You got it.
So, does this change then? I think this is the last question of the night then. Does this change any of your E3 predictions? From what we talked about what we think was going to happen, do you kind of see it being the same? Have you heard of anything else? What do you think?
Battle Royale and everything.
Battle Royale and everything.
Console Royale.
I honestly think I think we're going to get. If I'm going to change anything with mine, is I think we're going to get more release dates than we thought.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I agree. I agree entirely.
I think people are getting to the point where it's like, okay, we've kept hearing about these games. This is one of those years that release dates finally happen.
Yeah.
So
That'd be awesome.
I think maybe some developers have been burned by the 2-year-long hype cycle, and because people are so vocal and we have so many armchair developers now that it's the whole concept of what the game is in the mind of the public can get twisted so much in the course of 2 years of speculation. It makes much more sense, instead of having a 2-year-long hype build, to be like, hey, check out this thing. It'll be here in 2 months, Yep. That makes much more sense.
And I'll tell you right now, people are going to say, you got to build up more hype for this Fallout or whatever. If this date for Fallout is 7/6, that's going to be monstrous for Bethesda. Because
you know what you'll see me doing.
I can tell you right now, I think all four of us are going to end up playing it together somehow, which way or another.
For sure. I'll be there.
If it finally is mentioned as co-op.
Whatever giant-sized, extra-priced thing they want to sell me, I'm there. I've got all the other collector's editions. I mean, they've already sold this one. Just what am I going to get in it?
And half that shit is only on for a week or 2 weeks before it's sold out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to.
So if they say pre-orders are going up tonight, and you can download the game in a month because they've already been working on it, it's like, because look at what they're really going to do. If they're going to really kind of try to come out in September with it, like they did Fallout 4, look at what they're competing against. Honestly, they're going to have Red Dead that they're going to be competing against. They're going to be competing against an Assassin's Creed. A guarantee on that. What is it? They're going to be competing with Spider-Man that's coming out. I mean, those are 3 huge games that I don't know about you. I wouldn't want to compete with. I wouldn't want to compete, even come close to Red Dead Redemption 2. Wouldn't even come close to try to put something around there, because you'll be completely forgotten about. And then, so you have the end of October for that one. You have the end of September for Spider-Man. And then on top of that, you have Nintendo, who possibly might even be throwing out a release date for Smash Brothers.
Yep.
For the holiday. Yep. Believe me, the last thing that you're going to want to do is throw a experimental, per se, lack for a better phrase, experimental Fallout game in there in the mix.
Right. Yeah.
You're not going to want to do it.
Yeah, I think they're jumping ahead. They're saying we're first. They're at the front of the forum queue saying first. Like I really thought
you can get obsessed with it before all the other games start coming out, and then you're still going to be obsessed with it. Fallout.
Exactly. You have July, August, September. September. You have a good solid 3 months with this game.
Right.
Play.
And then
on top of that, Reclamation Day, Independence going out.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, it just makes sense.
The marketing, it just works. Yeah. And then, Fallout, because it's online, who knows, or it may be, or, multiplayer, whatever. But mod support has always been huge for Bethesda. And so you come out, you play the game vanilla, you wait a few months, you play it again with like trains flying around and people go, oh yeah. And, they've changed everything in the game, and you play it again and it's completely different. And so they kind of have to, they don't have, I mean, you got to think they built in like these cycles to their games of like, first you play it, then you're going to play it again later when it's completely different. And so if they time their DLC just right, like if they say, 7.6, Fallout 76, go play it. December 1st, first DLC pack comes out, you know, like that'll be timing where you play your 50, 100 hours of Fallout, you play your other games, and then you come back to Fallout and you keep going. Like, they're not idiots. They know what they're doing.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So awesome. So I think, that's going to do it for us. We're just going to kind of go through a couple of housekeeping things so you guys, can know. One, we are getting into streaming. Grace has done some streaming on our channel, and she has just suddenly gone dark.
Yes. That would be because I took my sticky notes off the screen. My fault. Give me two. I should be back up right now. It should be good.
So we got that. There you go, Steve. I know that we're all three, the guys are going to try to get on and start streaming. I think that you guys have started doing that or whatever.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys drop your Twitch name, or do you know your Twitch channel?
Yeah, I
know.
How
about you just stick it to our Twitch?
Yeah, just stay here. Stay tuned to the save point. Or
so all our channels are hosted here, so it's easy to find us.
They're all hosted. So that's twitch.tv/thesavepointpodcast. So twitch.tv, the Save Point Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at the Save Point. My Twitter is FuzzyBacon27. You guys want to give yours out?
I am Jext48. So ZHEKFD 48.
Okay.
Sure.
Anybody else?
Well, just look up Tyrant Dominus. I'm basically on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. Just look up Tyrant Dominus, and
there you go.
You can find me. And you can also find me on my other podcast, the Convoluted Podcast. So.
Yep. And then Steve, you're on another podcast, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm all over the place. You can find me on Twitter at SteveZero with a 0 at the end. So good luck with that. I'm on the Science Faction podcast. Talk about science and science fiction every week. So check that out.
Awesome.
At SciFactPod on Twitter.
Nice.
I would also like to add a side note that I am only Jext48 on Twitter. On everything else, I am Jext101. So 101 at the end.
Gotcha. As we talked about stream scheduling, not stream scheduling, I looked at the wrong, E3 schedule. We will be doing, and we will be live for conferences. Just so stick tuned to our Twitter and our Twitch page on who's going to be doing what at what conference, or who's going to be online at that conference for us. So we are going to be doing that. E3 is, it starts 2 days from now. So so there's going to be a lot of news. So stick it here. And that's really about it. Once again, thank you everybody. We had a lot of downloads of our first episode. So I thank you. So keep listening. Subscribe to us, comment. Way that we can grow this is just by your feedback. What do you want to hear us talk about? What do you want to hear us not to talk about? Destiny 2.
Burn! Ouch!
From there, we'll just kind of figure out what we'll be doing. And like I said, when we pop on a stream, feel free to leave us some messages. Maybe we'll pop on and co-op something or play against something online with you or whatever. So thank you for listening. And I'm signing off. What about you guys?
All right. Later, guys. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
I'm going to go play Fallout.
Switch scenes.